Bama football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide up inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys joining me today. Today is September 16th. It is Tuesday. It is the open week. Thank you for kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. As always, live every day at 10 a.m. or as news happens. And of course, we got videos coming out daily. So make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't get upset when a video drops and you don't miss it, all right? And every time you see a video out there, you need to hit the thumbs up. You need to get inside the comment box, all right? I hope you guys are doing great today. It's Tuesday. How's everybody doing on a scale of 1 to 10? Hope you're doing closer to the 10 spot, all right? And if you're not, hopefully over this next hour, I'll get you through it, and we'll continue to kick it. Yeah, a little bit of a rebranding. So we got a shield, which is Bama Football YouTube, all right? You guys like it? All right? Thanks for being here. Let's see who's up inside the comment box. Let's see who's up in here. All right, we got Max Tooney. As always, what's up? Let's actually fix this. Bring it right here. All right, we got Jeff up in here. Jeff, how was the game, bro? Jeff got to see his first Alabama football game, which is amazing, this past weekend. What's up, Andrew? I appreciate you being here. Austin Cortez, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Money Mucky, what's up, man? Byron, what's going on? He says Kane is getting it done as long as his daddy is standing by him. We'll talk about Kane Wommack and the defense and kind of the strengths and weaknesses as well on the show. Anita, what's going on? Good morning to everybody. You got Mindy, Miss Careless, what's up? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Ruben Poole, what's up, bro? Sean the Explorer. Yesterday, Sean was at, you were at Walmart yesterday, right? And it's Taco Tuesday. Thanks for reminding us. We got Amanda Jane coming in. We got Anita. We got Andy from the 710. We got Chris from New Jersey. We got Robert Bradley, Randy Anderson, Anthony Brewster. We got Latoya Billingsley. We got Mike G. We got Shaq Adams. Nothing Bergerson. Look, 10 years younger. Yeah, I was wondering what you guys were going to say with the no hat. I need to look, and I need to get the lighting a little bit better in here because when I stand, you can't really see the light that I have. Yeah, but this is no hat. And the crazy thing is I got curls, 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 curls I do adore. So I don't know. This no hat. This is how we're rolling today. We're gonna roll with it. But I do have the hats right here, just in case things go south. All right, I got the hat close by in case we have to dip that way. All right, here's the Week 4 injury report. Now, I know Alabama will have open week in Week 4, but, you know, going into Week 4 and then to Week 5 of that Georgia game, here's how things look. And this was from Coach Kalen DeBoer yesterday. He spoke with the media at the Birmingham Quarterback Club, all right? And the first update was great, and it was just right to it because he said that LT Overton, good to go, all right? I know he was a little bit banged up. We never even heard what the injury was, but it doesn't look like it was anything significant because he's good to go already. So that's really good news. Now, the next two players, wow, some good updates. So you got Jam Miller and Tim Keenan, and it sounded like from listening to Coach Kalen DeBoer that it's going to be more of a rep count, that they will be good to go against Georgia, and that was something we anticipated. Isn't it crazy? Remember when these guys got hurt, like Georgia seemed so far away, and now it's like these guys are closer to being 100% and look like they're going to be on a rep count. A rep count to me just basically means they're going to see how these guys can go. These guys haven't played so far this season, right? So let's see how these guys move along. But I asked you yesterday on a video, I was like, the impact level of each of these guys coming in, right? And I think the player that we all know that will make a significant impact will be Tim Keenan. And I'm not taking anything away from Jam Miller. I think Jam Miller will also contribute in a very big way. And maybe he will kind of catapult Alabama's running attack. I don't know. I mean, there's a big difference, let's face it, between Jam Miller and the rest of the running backs on the roster. I mean, the guys are good. They're just not Jam Miller, right? Especially in pass protection. I saw Richard Young even struggle against Wisconsin on a couple different plays. But I think Tim Keenan, in terms of Tim Keenan being here and being kind of that middle plug and being that Georgia can, run the football. They have a quarterback that can move around, who can operate at a high level. I think Tim Keenan coming back is kind of like a 10 out of 10 when we talk about, rating things, because he's not only the defensive plug, he's 320 pounds. He'll help stop that run, but also he's a captain. Tim Keenan, look, this was a guy, what was it, last week or whenever it was when they played Louisiana Monroe, that went to Coach Kalen DeBoer and was, basically telling him, yo, we believe in you. We're fired up. We're going to get this done. And I think that him being back will really elevate the Alabama defense overall. So Jeremiah Beeman out for the season. I don't think there's anybody else that is necessarily out. So pretty good injury report going into the first SEC game of the season. Appreciate you guys kicking it with me. Joe Crooms, I see you up in here. We got Tolbert Street. We got Rocketown. And I appreciate you guys being in here. Fly Guy, what's up, bro? All right. I had to do this. All right. I had to go this way. Because I'm really tired of like all this Arch Manning talk. And it seems like Ty Simpson, that he don't get love, right? It seems to me that Ty isn't getting the notoriety that he deserves. So what I wanted to do, I think was it Ruben yesterday that asked me to do like a side-by-side graphic? So I came up and I was like, all right, let's do some side-by-side graphics from the quarterback standpoint. Will, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. And so I put Ty on the left and I put Arch Manning on the right. And then I went through 3 games and I put their stats onto this board, right? So Ty Simpson, 862 yards passing, 9 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, 71.9 completion percentage, 186 passing rating. Yo, those are absolutely fire numbers. Michael Coleman with the 20. Thank you. I was going to say, yo, we need some super chats this week being it's an open week. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Oh, Michael Coleman. I think the biggest thing, too, is the 0 turnovers, right? 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles. And did you know that Alabama is one of 9 teams in the country that is yet to have a turnover? Isn't that wild? Yo, that's operating at a very high level, right? Manning on the other side, 579, 6 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions. These guys barely beat UTEP last week. The rating 128, but look at that completion percentage, 55.3. Yo, this is a big disparity between 2 quarterbacks. And I said this, look, Manning had all this hype, but Ty Simpson is playing that the media wanted Arch Manning to play. So it's time to give Ty Simpson the notoriety that he deserves because he's playing absolutely through the roof. Now, he has to continue to do it, right? He has to continue to maintain that level of consistency play week by week. Throwing catchable passes, not making bad decisions. So the numbers don't lie, right? I mean, side by side. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Let's take it a step further. Let's look at, before I move forward. What has anybody had a chance to watch Texas play? How would you assess Arch Manning on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah, Javion's getting in on the hair too. I know it's a little bit of a different look. And I guess you could say 75 of these yards, came on a flea flicker. There was some on a shovel pass. That doesn't matter to me. It's about operating the offense at a very high level. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's had opportunities to make mistakes. He didn't make mistakes. Games, I don't think he's leading the SEC in rating. I think he might be up there. I think he's 9th in the country so far. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you assess the play of Arch Manning so far? I watched him play 2 times. I watched him against UTEP, and I watched him against in the opener against Ohio State. Man, I'd probably say like a 5, honestly. I'd probably say like a 5. I haven't been like, even the passes that he's thrown, they've had a wobble on him, and this is just it right here, what Max said. He's had guys that are in the end zone that he has absolutely missed. Like just, yeah. Berger says moderate 5. I agree. Jimmy Williams in with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Jimmy says if we pressure Stockton, the game will be ours. All right, yeah, we'll talk about Alabama, Georgia here in a minute. Let's see what Dennis has to say. I think Dennis has him at a 7. All right, Dennis says this. I still give Arch a 7 because of the enormous pressure they put on the kid. You know, I see we are going with this. I just feel like this guy has all the weapons, and it's been lackluster. And I even saw him yesterday, said, look, I just have to play my game. So, look, maybe things get better for him. Maybe Texas kind of gets out of this. But the team overall and Arch have been way underperforming so far. Because they were supposed to be like up there with Ohio State. This was supposed to be like Steve Sarkisian's team. They still could be. We're only in week 3, but right now from out the gates, it just hasn't been impressive. Not only to me, but I think a lot of people in the country, not just because it's an Alabama channel. It's just these are the facts, right? Then I was like, okay, well, let's put him up against another quarterback that was getting a lot of notoriety. So I was like, how about John Mateer? I think, did someone ask me this yesterday? Was it you, Ruben? So I was like, okay. So John Mateer right here has Simpson in yards, 944, right? But he only has 5 passing touchdowns. Oklahoma is 3-0 on the season. They do have a quality win over Michigan. But he's also thrown an interception in every single game so far. There wasn't a game where he threw 2 interceptions and 1. It was every single game he's thrown an interception. 67.6 passing percentage, and then a rating of 153. So tie head-to-head against like an Arch Manning and against a John Mateer, the numbers don't lie. Like, he has better numbers than those 2 quarterbacks. We have a question from Ian. What's up, man? Appreciate you. What's up, Ian? Good to see you, bro. Kyle, do you think that Ty is living up to the game manager role, or do you think he'll be viewed up there as one of the Bama's quarterbacks like Mac Jones, McCarron? This is a damn good question. Let me ask you, and I just want some feedback. Do you think that Ty Simpson is a game manager, or do you think that he's a playmaker? So game manager or playmaker? Are those the 2 kind of options that we can title him? Is there something else that we can put on him? I would say that he's a playmaker, right? Rather than a game manager. I think that he is managing Ryan Grubb's offense today really well, like at this point in time. But I'm going to say playmaker because of some of the, 2 plays, okay? Just to talk about it. I think like the big play that he had when he threw the touchdown pass to Isaiah Horton on the far right against Louisiana Monroe, like, that was more than a game manager. Like, that was an athletic throw. That was a playmaking throw. The other times that he's used his legs, I think the play was called back, but the guy can get out of the pocket and he has a lot of extendability. So I'm going to say playmaker. Let's put a poll. This poll presented by... All right. Is Ty Simpson a game manager or a playmaker? I don't think there's a wrong answer. Playmaker. All right, inside the comment box, I have posted the poll. Please get in there. Hey, we got 140 up in here. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Let's see what Crystal has to say. He's like, Crystal says this. I agree. I think he is a bit of both. Okay. Joe Kroom says not just a game manager. So far, inside the comment box, 67%, and there's been 30 votes, believe that he is a playmaker. Continue to vote. It'll be. I'll come back to that in a few minutes. All right. So look at this. You know, I like to focus on things. I'm a numbers guy. That's just always how I've been. And so what I did was I took it a step further, and this is just 3 games, okay? So just everyone relax with this next graphic, okay? Viewer discretion is advised. I do not want this to start a war. I don't even have my hat on today, okay? My hat. It's just we're rocking the hair, and we're gonna check the feedback. All right. So then I put up Jalen Milroe after 3 games compared to Ty Simpson. All right. Okay, so after 3 games last season, Jalen Milroe had 590 passing yards. He had 8 passing touchdowns. He had 0 interceptions and a 67.3 completion percentage and a rating that was actually higher than Ty Simpson. Now, that was after 3 games, and clearly we know what happened the rest of the season. The wheels fell off. But through 3 games, those are numbers. Like, numbers are numbers, okay? So hopefully the wheels don't fall off on this side and we continue to have Ty be a playmaker. But just food for thought after 3 games, all right? It's a low volume of metrics, but we do look at numbers as they come in. You guys doing all right? Guys hanging in there? You guys are freaked out about that, the no hat, huh? I'm kind of freaked out about it too. All right. So I updated this, okay? So yesterday, we kicked the ball back and forth, and I wanted more strengths and weaknesses about this team after 3 games, right? Because we've had more time to digest this team, look about this team on offense, defense, special teams, whatever, right? 3 games. Played 1 really good team and 2 like tone-up games. All right, so you got the play of Ty Simpson as a strength. Clearly, we just celebrated QB1. All right. I put elite wide receivers. All right. I mean, elite. The wide receivers are crazy. They're so good. Okay, so now I have to ask another question. I'm going to stop the music. Okay, so are these wide receivers, if you don't want to answer yet, that's fine, okay? Are these the best wide receivers that we have had collectively since like the 2020 season, all right? Are these the best wide receivers collectively that we've had since that point in time? I'm talking like the teams that had like Waddle, Ruggs, Smitty, Judy, right? Is this, I mean, you had John Mechie, you had J-Mo, but that was kind of like, those are the guys. Before that, the wideouts were crazy. I don't know what this group is called, the Takers or whatever they're called, but man, I mean, top to bottom, they are absolutely just a problem. A problem. 4 wide receivers on the field is terrifying, okay? This is what was scary to me. You had Isaiah Horton, you had Jerry Bernard at one point, and then you had Lazier Brooks, and you had Ryan Williams on the inside. You deal with that. And the only thing is, I'm going to keep bringing this up, is Ty did miss on a touchdown pass to Lazier Brooks. He was wide open. There was no one even around him by like 20 yards, and he didn't even throw the ball to him. He went somewhere else. And he's like, as collective, yes. Individuals, nah. Collectively, probably so, right? But though individually, that I like that, Andy. Those wide receivers were, they were crazy good, man. I will say, though, this is the best like in my personal opinion, these are the best wide receivers that we've had since 2021, right? 2020, 2021, period. Like 100%. And Lazier Brooks, look, as a freshman, he already elevated that group. I mean, Ryan's going to do his thing. His playmaking ability is absolutely amazing, right? You're always remembered for the passes that you drop. He's dropped some passes, but the plays that he's made have been crazy. It's crazy. 5 is unbelievable. Looks like one of the best wide receivers in the country right now. Moving up on NFL draft boards, that's Jeremy Bernard. And then you have Isaiah Horton, who I think is still underrated, right? Another strength of this team, right? Playing at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Unbeaten under Coach Kalen DeBoer on Nick Saban's field. And that bodes well because you have Texas coming to town, Tennessee coming to town. You have LSU coming to town, right? You have Oklahoma coming to town. Home field advantage. Yo, I honestly think that Bryant-Denny's going a little bit harder because they know that the teams are more challenging. So Bryant-Denny Stadium is going to play a huge role, especially in the back end of the season. I think Ryan Grubb's scheme. Thumbs up for Ryan Grubb. I know it's a small sample size, but it's way more creative than any other tackles that we've had, offensive linemen that we've had, offensive coordinators that we've had. Sorry, I'm saying a million things at once. Ryan Grubb has been absolutely fantastic. It feels that his schematics for the players that he has, it seems like he's putting everybody in the right position. I think it comes down to the offensive line. And does Alabama have the offensive line to be able to keep up, especially at the tackles, right? But damn, Ryan Grubb has been amazing. I think everybody would agree inside the comment box. Ryan Grubb is coaching the offense like we thought Ryan Grubb would. And don't you love when that works out? And I guess the only thing is that we really are trying to figure out right now is like what's going on with the run game. I don't know. It would be interesting to talk to like, I don't know, like a Cole Kublik, somebody of like that pedigree to be like, yo, is it like Alabama's offensive line? Is Alabama just taking advantage of what the defense is giving them? Is it just that Jam Miller's out? I don't know what it is. All right. And then I put Coach DeBoer in a black hoodie. Was he 10-1 now in a black hoodie? Remember when we were so mad about what he would wear? Oh man, that was funny. Sully didn't recognize me without the hat. I know that's been one of the biggest. That's been one of the biggest things today. Is the no hat. And the lighting is still a little strange on here. But yeah, this is No Hat Tuesday. Also, Taco Tuesday. All right, the weaknesses. We came up with this yesterday. The run defense, before they played Wisconsin, they were 101. They moved up to 72nd in the nation. That number still has to improve, and I think something that we're certainly watching as we go forward and play teams that can run the football, specifically that have a running quarterback, which I think is the second weakness. If this team can't stop a running quarterback, then that's it, right? Scuba Steve says he can't watch a show without that hat on. Who are running quarterbacks that Alabama's still going to face? List them inside the comment box. Like a legit running quarterback. Okay, Gunnar Stockton, he can move around a little bit, but he's not like a true dual threat, right? He's athletic. Diego Pavia, yeah, he can run a little bit. He's like a playmaker. Pribola, the quarterback from Missouri, I've seen him run, but I don't think he's like a Tommy Castellanos, right? John Mateer can run. I mean, you're facing all athletic quarterbacks, but the only guy that's really like a running quarterback, I guess, is Jackson Arnold. Is that true? Pavia, people are saying Pavia. Oh, Sellers, yeah, Sellers. I think Sellers will be back because he had a concussion, right? So I think Sellers is a running quarterback, and so is Jackson. The baby face says Sellers, Pavia, Arnold, Mateer. Yeah. I haven't really seen Mateer run that much. I had to look at some more tape on him, but I'm sure he's super athletic. But if you can't stop those guys, I mean, good night, right? Playing on the road, we brought that up. They're 2-5 since Coach Kalen DeBoer has got here. And then they're 84th in the nation in penalties. So it seems like this team does get a lot of penalties. I mean, Wisconsin was getting a lot of penalties. There's just a lot of penalties in that last game, right? Yeah, I agree, Will. Will's like, Diego is serious, for sure. I kind of knew he was serious when he body slammed that dude from Auburn. Then he beat Auburn, and then he beat Alabama. Then he beat South Carolina. There's 3-0. Nobody's talking about Vanderbilt. All right, speaking of John Mateer, let's get into a little sleeper action. All right, everybody knows the video is powered by Sleeper, which I really appreciate their sponsorship. When you download the Sleeper app, you can make picks, right? More or less. Each week I do it. It's really fun. Here's what we got on slate for this weekend. I'm going to need your help inside the comment box. Remember, when you download Sleeper, use the promo code, which is tailgate. Get a $100 deposit, match up to $100. Terms and conditions apply, available in 25 states. All right, so I need your help real quick. All right, so up in this upcoming game, John Mateer, 256 yards. Do you think that he will throw for more or less against Auburn? 256 for John Mateer, more or less against Auburn. That's kind of a tough one. I think I'm going to go more, but I don't know if I don't know. This is a tough one. I'm going to have to refer to the undefeated for this one. What do you guys think? More or less for Mateer, 256 against Auburn. I guess I'll say more, pending the results of the undefeated inside the comment box. All right, Dubs is saying way more. Yeah, I'm saying Mateer, more than 256 against Auburn. More? It looks like Max Tooney said less, though. So did Jamie. It looks like we're 2 to 3 more. All right. Okay, so more. How about Carson Beck? This is my second one. Carson Beck, 258 against Florida. More or less, Carson Beck. More or less for 2. Yo, I have to say this. Look, Miami's look pretty good. This squad has looked pretty good. 2 quality wins. They beat Notre Dame and South Florida. That was a good win over South Florida. So 258 for Carson Beck against Florida. I'm going to say more here. And then my last one I have for you, a name that is familiar. You have Justice Haynes right here. More or less 84 yards rushing against Nebraska. Justice Haynes has been having a nice season, not going to lie. I'm going to say more for Justice Haynes, I think. So I got more, and more. Anyways, when you download Sleeper, use the promo code TAILGATE, get a $100% match up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. Use the promo code TAILGATE. Right? All right, yesterday, Coach Kalen DeBoer spoke to the media at the Birmingham Quarterback Club, and he was talking about adversity, right? He said this: it's probably added a little bit of fuel to the fire, losing to Florida State, in some cases for some individuals. But I think as a team, as our team as a whole, they've really been forced to stick together, I think, on another level. Breaking this quote down, I think in some cases, like Bray Hubbard straight up told us, it was like pouring gas on fire. And you've seen the play of Bray Hubbard. Like, he was called out, he performed at a low level, and he took that in, and he's played at a very high level since then. Being player of the week for Alabama, and then the SEC defensive player of the week last week, talking about Bray Hubbard, right? Individually. Maybe even for like a Ryan Williams too. He was criticized, right? Coming across the middle against Florida State. Look at his play against Wisconsin. So individually, I think definitely a lot of players were called out, 100%. But I think as a team, these guys have stuck together multiple times. And they did face adversity early in the year. I have never seen Alabama face that type of adversity covering the team that early in the year. And we've seen how they've bounced back, right? in these last 2 games, but can you keep it going? And what are you going to do the next time more adversity hits? Because you know what the schedule looks like. You don't think there's going to be more adversity coming their way? You also spoke about Tim Keenan, and that's what we were talking about in the beginning, kind of like a rep count of some sort, right? I don't anticipate that he'll be able to go out and just play a full game. Maybe a number of snaps if he was completely healthy. And this is something that look, I think, one, holding your cards to your vest a little bit. You don't want Georgia to know how healthy Tim Keenan is, right? But I think it's like you want to see how he can play once the game actually starts. Can this guy go a full 4 quarters? I don't know. Same thing with Jan Miller. Are these guys 4-quarter ready? They haven't even played a game this year. Hey, Matt, just Matt. What's up, dog? Good to see you, man. So I guess we'll just have to see. And that's something that I think bodes well for Alabama. Because Georgia's like, is this guy going to play? Can he play the whole game? I don't know. Kind of circling back on what we're talking about, kind of a strength of the team, Coach Kalen DeBoer was also asked about Ryan Grubb and the schematics of first-year offensive coordinator. And he said, I think there's been a lot of progress on that, and they understand the schemes because of the concepts and the same families. Yo, hey, look. Hate it or love it, this guy has been the best offensive coordinator that's been here, since 5-6 seasons? And he still has to prove it. And just as we spoke about earlier, is like what's going on with the running game, I don't know. But no turnovers, high-level play at the quarterback position. You have a wide receiver who continues to climb in terms of, NFL rankings. I think, Ryan Williams finally got involved last week and did his thing. They're utilizing the tight end where they can. Josh Cuevas has a couple catches. The running backs out of the backfield have been used on wheel routes. They've been active. They've been targeted. I think it just comes down to the offensive line. And we have to face the fact that it seems like we still have an issue at the tackle position. And that is probably going to stand in the way of Alabama being an elite offense and a really good offense. Because if you don't have elite level play from the tackles, I mean, Ty Simpson is going to be put under duress, and you'll see his completion percentage go down when they play better teams. If Ty Simpson is under pressure, that's the only time that we've seen him be inaccurate this season is when you got to Ty. What was he, 7-17 under pressure? Something like that? The last 2 games, you haven't been able really to get to him. But other teams that are much better than Wisconsin and Monroe, they're going to put heat on Ty. So I think it comes down to the tackles. I think Caden Proctor's playing a little bit better, but I don't know what's going on the other side. I don't know if I think you still have a competition, right? This is a really good question inside the comment box. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, bro. Hey, Kyle, do you think that Ty is still one and done? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now, Ty can come back next year if he wanted to. But I think that if he continues to have high-level play, kind of regardless, I think he's already shown signs that he can play and be developed in the NFL. I don't think it's an issue in terms of him understanding concepts, reads, routes, that sort of stuff. I think his playmaking ability has been sufficient. Like, if you were to end the season right now, would Ty Simpson be draftable? 100%. He's going to blow up like the interviews. He's a great kid. There's no off-the-field type issues. Yeah, he's 100% one and done. And then I think next year you have, continued quarterback battle between Austin and Keelan Russell. I think that's always been kind of the plan. Hacker Music says, I was surprised when I saw how low we are ranked against the run. If I had guessed without looking, I would have guessed around top 30. No, still what was it, 82 or 72 or something like that? Big jump from the previous week. But, yeah, and Chris is saying he can 100% play in the NFL. 100%. Yeah, I agree. Ian says, how do you feel about the competition between Mack and Keelan Russell? I love it. I think the early opportunities that we had to see from those quarterbacks, I think were very telling. We haven't had a huge sample size, but it was a good enough serving to where I think we can make assessments of that. Austin Mack has a cannon. There's a lot of things to build on there. And then with Keelan Russell, like that kid just looked phenomenal. There's a lot of things that you were just like, oh my goodness, this is him. If I personally had to like put a quarterback in right now based off just what I have personally seen a YouTuber, I'd probably put in Keelan Russell as my number 2. That's what I'd say. But I mean, Austin Mack's thrown the ball 11 times. Keelan Russell's thrown the ball 6 times. So does that matter? No. But I think that there'd probably be some people inside the comment box that would say that Keelan Russell is the second best quarterback on the team right now. I'm not throwing shade at Austin Mack. It's just that's how I feel. And I do think Austin Mack's good. I think he's really good. I just think that Keelan Russell, what I saw was like, I saw it with my own eyes. It was crazy. What's up? Carlos says, Kyle, Ty needs to stay one more year. One and done, don't have history of doing well in the NFL. See, what's up, Carlos? I appreciate it, man. Looks like you're doing some good work in the weight room, bro, by the way. But see, I don't necessarily view Ty as a one and done because he's been here so long. He has the pedigree of a coach's son. So he's been in the lab for a long time. I think it's just kind of like Coach Saban, the cake is baking, and I think that it's baked. You know what I'm saying? But, and I think if you come, like, quite frankly, too, if you come back, Keelan Russell bounces. There's no way that Keelan Russell is going to sit on the sidelines for 2 consecutive years. I get it. Patience is a virtue, not in today's college football. You saw, didn't you see, who saw this on X, Twitter? There was a Wisconsin coach that walked up. I promise you. Who saw this? Pause the music. Who saw this? I saw after the game. Did you see this? A Wisconsin coach came up to Keelan Russell and like said, what's up? But then he covered his mouth and he said something. And Keelan Russell would like laughed, I think did Clinton have it? I can't remember who had it. Everybody was like retweeting it. But it looked like somebody was saying, yo, you'd be the quarterback here at Wisconsin. If I had to get, I have no idea. It just looked shady. Why would you cover your mouth like this when you're saying something? I don't know. Did you see this? Not making it up. Weird. All right. So the title of this video is Can Kane Wommack get the job done? All right. By the way, is Ty Simpson a game manager playmaker? 65% inside the poll say that he is a playmaker out of 170 votes. So pretty good voting. So I thought that was a good question. All right, I'm going to ask another one, which is on Kane Wommack. All right. Do you believe Kane Wommack can get the job done on defense? Yes or no? All right, so vote inside the comment box. Do you believe that Kane Wommack can get the job done on defense? He talked about adversity down at a Mobile speaking engagement. By the way, all of our fam down in Mobile, I love Mobile. I love LA. I love LA. I went out to Mobile Bay one time, like literally I took a boat on it. I was fishing. So first time I ever done it. And the waves were crazy. So what we did was we turned back and we went into like some sloughs. And we caught all sorts of fish. It was wild. All sorts of stuff. But yesterday, Kane Wommack said this on adversity. He said there's something that we've got to be able to show we can do better job of, particularly on the road. Yeah, 2-5, right? I can't think of a better place to do that than Athens, Georgia. That's a big statement. That is probably printed out in the Georgia locker room. But hey, this is grown man football. You got to be able to do it on in Athens against Georgia. I think a lot of people understand that Alabama's defense hasn't been to the standard that it once was. And so far, inside the poll with 50 votes, it says, do you believe Kane Wommack can get the job done? 57% say no. You look at the teams that Alabama's going to play down the road. How would you attack Alabama? If I can still tell you how I would attack Alabama, there's an issue because I'm just on YouTube. I have no credentials of being a college football coach, okay? But if I can tell you, hey, you run at Alabama right up the middle, you use your running backs, you keep Alabama off balance with, you know, a shovel pass, a reverse, a running quarterback that can go right up at the middle. Like, I think if you can bully Alabama, I think teams still think they can bully Alabama. And I think you've seen a couple times that you can take advantage of Alabama deep. Saw Saban Brown allow a touchdown. Squirrel White, right, cooked Dejon Lee. So you're about to play a lot better teams than you played in the last 2 weeks. And a lot is going to come down because I don't see a lot of issues other than the tackle play on the offense. I still see issues on Alabama's defense. And I get it. Deontay Lawson, I love him. I'm still worried about him as an inside linebacker, just being 100%. I want to see if Tim Keenan is 100%. I like this too. Hacker Music says this. It's a good way to look at it. He says, I can't answer that, the poll question, without knowing what get the job done means. Good enough to win, yes. Good for former. So, okay, yeah. I don't think it'll ever be the Alabama standard of in terms of how the defense operated. But in terms of, like, coming up with stops against quality teams, that's kind of what I was going for. And to be honest, if I had to say right now, I would say no. I think that this is probably the biggest reason that stops Alabama from winning a national championship is the defense. Which is hard for me to say because I'm like, dang, I love the defense. I love the two deep. I don't really have anything with the players. I think it's more kind of a schematics. And maybe now I'm looking at the players. The inside linebackers, I think, can be challenged. So that's kind of how I feel. Let's see. R. Howard, he doesn't look old. It's the bangs that make him look a little different. Yeah. You guys still getting used to the bangs? That's hilarious. Wade's World. Yeah, it's funny, man. I think I get what you guys are saying. You guys are used to like a constant, look. Yeah, it's funny. It's all good. I could take it. It's hilarious to me, to be honest. Andrew points out, he's like, we just returned 10 starters on defense. How is the defense an issue? It's crazy. Exactly. That's why I always go back to that one guy that was on Saban's staff that is no longer on DeBoer's staff who was like, look, it's not the players. It's the scheme. He told me this. He told me this before the season. He was like, it has nothing to do with the players. The players are great. He's like, it's a scheme that Kane Wommack is running. I like this. That's funny. I love you guys too. Depth is the issue on defense. You got good depth, man. All right. It's just it might be the scheme, right? Jarvis, what's up? Jarvis says the 4-2-5 just doesn't work in the SEC. Tolver, it's like, right, the receivers has to do a better job getting their heads around. I mean, because think about this. You saw this too. When Saban Brown just recently allowed the touchdown, what did he do? What didn't he do? He didn't turn his head around, right? So anyways, I think this needs to be buttoned up. He clearly knows. He knows even after the game against Louisiana Monroe, they got to continue to improve. So let's see it, man. This is a big quote right here saying what better place to do it other than Athens, Georgia. Go do it, man. Because look at this schedule. This is crazy, right? It's crazy that all these teams are ranked. Okay, so Georgia, Vandy, even Missouri. Missouri's ranked. Am I sleeping on Missouri? Is Missouri better than I'm thinking? I haven't seen them play yet. Truth be told, I've been looking at their stat line, at their quarterback. I saw a couple highlights, and he looks fast. He looks really good. But is this one of those weird games this year? Tennessee, I thought they looked pretty good, to be honest. South Carolina, I'm like, I mean, we saw them without Lenore Sellers. I don't think he's playing this weekend, but we saw them last year with Lenore Sellers, and the guy's tough. LSU, look at this schedule. Hey, Norris, what's up, man? I appreciate it. This is Norris's first time watching live. Appreciate it. Will everybody tell Norris what's up inside the comment box? Team J, that's what's up, man. Where you watching from, Norris? Rapper City. This schedule, I always like to say this to like piss off like other fan bases, but what other teams could run with a schedule like this? What? Okay, UNLV. What would UNLV's schedule, the record be? It will make you really mad when you start to think about that, because you'll see how the unfair advantage that other teams have when they don't play in the SEC, when they don't play a level of competition like this on a weekly basis, right? We showed you this, all these teams right here in the top 25 that Alabama's going to play. Wild. I mean, I guess that loss right here against Florida State doesn't look too bad because this team so far is a buzzsaw. Who does Florida State play this week? Gelato in with a super chat. Defense is number one problem, followed by a lack of running game. If that improves, Bama can win the SEC and the Natty. I appreciate it, Gelato. You doing all right, bro? Good to see you, man. Thank you so much. All right. I guess we're going to do like a continuation every single day. Just talk a little Alabama versus Georgia, right? How could we not? I mean, give me all this time to talk about Alabama and Georgia? Yes, please. So I started thinking about this. I was like, you know what? With this game, as big as it is, there's so much on the line, in my opinion, right? So I started writing this down, and I was like, you know what? What's at stake for these two teams, right? So I'm going to turn down the music. As we look at Alabama versus Georgia, what's at stake? What's on the line for the Alabama Crimson Tide, right? I think a lot, considering that Alabama lost its first game to Florida State. So I came up with this. I said, if Bama wins on the left, right, national notoriety is instantly back. It doesn't take Alabama long to gain momentum. We know this, right? Sitting at, within the top 15, if they beat Georgia on the road, right? Sanford Stadium, Alabama is probably 100% a top 10 team, maybe like a top 5, top 7 type team. They'll shoot back up in the ratings, 100%. I think people will start to talk about Alabama, depending on if they win and how they win this game, as a national title contender. Specifically, if Ty Simpson has a very good game. Let's face it, a lot of this comes from the quarterback play. If they're able to go to Georgia and you have a high-level play from Ty Simpson once again and Alabama takes care of Georgia, I think people will be talking about Alabama making a real run for the Natty, okay? I think Coach Kalen DeBoer, I think his approval rating will go through the roof. Because, look, people are like, can this guy win on the road, right? Can they win on the road? Can they win in a challenging environment? And truth be told, in these type of games, Coach Kalen DeBoer, he does actually win these type of games. Going and beating Kirby Smart for a second consecutive season, that is a way to cement your contract, right? 10 out of 10 if you're able to beat Georgia. And then I think clearly just back in the hunt, people will be talking about Alabama, right? Back in the hunt. I think if Alabama loses, right, this team has to win out in SEC play from then on. You know how challenging the schedule is. You still have games against Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, at the barn, right? That's going to be a difficult schedule to just absolutely run the table from Georgia then on, right? The road record for Coach Kalen DeBoer, if he loses to Georgia, will then be 2-6. Oh my goodness, right? That's like 2-6, and you still have road games against South Carolina, right? And at Auburn. Bama will have 2 losses against 2 top 10 teams. So people will start to talk about the brand and that, this and that. Well, we've all heard it before. People aren't scared of Alabama, this and that. And then the worst part of it all is, oh my goodness, Georgia has beaten Alabama 1 time in the last, 10 times that they played. If they're able to beat Alabama in Athens, we'll never hear the end of it for the rest of our lives. So that's kind of what at stake in terms of Alabama versus Georgia. What do you think? Sound off inside the comment box in terms of what's at stake between these two teams. Is there anything that I missed? Do you agree with this? If Bama wins on the left, and if Bama loses, is there anything else? I think if they lose, it's just going to be so hard to win out the rest of this schedule, right? Let's go back to the schedule. Okay, you lose here, let's just say. So Alabama at this point be 2-2. And then you have to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row and figure out. And the good news is the SEC will cannibalize each other. So winning 8 games in a row, not entirely impossible, but you do have tough games on the road still, right? Like Vanderbilt will be tough. That's at home, but you get what I'm saying. It's a hard schedule. I guess you can't lose, period, but if you're going to lose in the SEC, lose once. Is there anything else that's at stake in terms of them losing or winning? I know. That's crazy, Wade, right? 8 ranked teams in one season. And the way I'm looking at it right now, I already know 6 teams that are going to be in the playoffs from opposing conferences. I have Ohio State, I have Penn State, and I have Oregon, right? Those are 3. From the ACC, I'd probably have Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Miami. That's 6 spots. SEC is going to get, 4 spots? So you have 10 teams. So you got to finish in that top 4 to be able to make the playoffs. They're going to take, one of the West Coast teams like UNLV or something like that. B-Rob says, Kyle, we ain't losing. Love it. I'm actually pretty confident about this game. I'm not going to lie. About this Alabama-Georgia game, I'm serious. RLS says this, Bama will not lose another game. Love it. Hacker Music says this inside the comment box. He says, I think 3 losses probably make the playoffs this year since basically threatened the committee to take strength of schedule into more of an account. That's a good point, actually. I mean, and so that bodes well for Alabama playing 8 ranked teams this season, right? Ooh, I didn't think about this, Andy. Recruiting, impact massive. Yes. Kids seen Bama beating Georgia on the road. Yes, 100%. And I think this works both ways, right? Jason points out, he's like, it'll just be 1 conference loss. Atlanta would still be in view, 100%. You just got to win the rest of those games, right? Yeah, I like that. Really good point out. Sammy says if Bama has 2 losses, the schedule that they still make the playoffs, you got other teams playing 1 ranked team all year. I 100% agree, bro. This is a night game, prime time. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this is the big one, man. This is after that Ohio State and Texas game, right? This is the biggest game that we've had since then. This is the second biggest game that we've had all season with, I think, early implications for sure. But you're right. Since it is the first SEC game, win or lose, you still got to take care of business the rest of the way. Andrew saying start a GoFundMe for Kane Wommack's dad. I think Wommack could probably afford it, right? What's he making, like 1.5, something like that? What's up, Norris? Did you see how y'all folded against Tennessee? I just didn't see that squad beating us. That was an entertaining game. I like watching that game. What's up, Debbie? How you doing? Debbie says, I hope the board puts 24/7 tight security at the team hotel. Yeah, we never figured out if those rumors were true or not. Remember that the night before the game, they were like getting DoorDash and sneaking. I don't know. Anybody could have came up with that stuff. Let's see. Crystal says, I plan to be at the Carolina games. It's in my backyard. Not literally, unless something happens with my schedule. Oh. Let's see. Max says the Florida State rumors were false. It's been refuted. Yeah, we never like saw pictures or anything like that. Jason's like, anyone know if Napier has a U-Haul in his driveway? Yeah. You know, Napier's seat was hot last year. And then he started winning games. He has a tough schedule ahead of him. Jamie says recruiting is an aspect is real, but I think we need it more for momentum than anything else. Fair. Let's see. Andrew says, no going to games this year. Cancer's got me staying home. You know, look, we're praying for you, bro. There's a lot of people on here, actually, Andrew, that are dealing with, similar things. We have people in here, fighting cancer. Tawan's been very open with his battles. We have Jenny Cackney out in the Houston area who's battling stage 4 breast cancer. So thoughts and prayers for her. So Andrew, we uplift you in our spirits and we pray for you. 100%. Keep fighting. Yeah, and you have a lot of support here too. I mean, the thing about it is, while the show is Alabama football related, like this is life, right? So everybody goes through different seasons within their life, adversity, ups, downs, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that some adversity might hit you, and that doesn't mean you just throw in the towel. That doesn't mean game over, right? You keep fighting day by day, hour by hour. You reach out to people who are in your corner, right? You take it day by day. You never go into worst case think tank and start, freaking out. You battle. You battle as a person, right? You pray. You battle. You understand that this might be your time to suffer. You're not the only one suffering, and you keep fighting all the time, bro. All right? So that's my message to you. And if you want to laugh, think about me with my bangs. Because laughter is a medicine, right? All right, fam. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Thank you so much for kicking with me today on this beautiful Tuesday, September 16th. I got curls. Oh, my goodness. I'm stupid. Enjoy your life. Be where your feet are at. Stay blessed. Stay grounded. If you're fighting through adversity, keep fighting through it. We got you covered right here at Bama Football on YouTube each and every day at 10 a.m. Central Time or as news happens. Remember to follow our Facebook channel. We post a lot of information there as well. It's kind of like my website, but news as it happens, and I really appreciate the Super Chats. Thank you so much. They go such a long way for me, specifically on an open week, so I need you guys' support all the time. And if you want to send like a tip, Venmo Bama _YouTube up top, Cash App Bama YouTube, and of course video is powered by our good friends at Sleeper. So thank you so much. Stay blessed, stay where your feet are at, and I really, really, really appreciate you. All right, we'll let Ethan kick us out today. He says, see you later, gang. Jesus loves you more, and I am praying for us all. Roll Tide Roll. That's a good message. Have a great day, and I'll catch up with you soon right here on Bam.